Triple trouble, double bubble guts. Today we are looking at the bubble gut. It is a phenomenon in bodybuilding where the midsection grows, but there is no actual visible body fat. It was invented by Dave Palumbo, bodybuilder from the 1990s, and I believe it was Louis Marco that coined both bubble gut and Palumboism, coined both of those phrases. But anyway, it was later perfected by Big Lenny, as you can see here. What is a bubble gut? Well, I can tell you what it's not. It's not this. This is what you're supposed to look like as a bodybuilder. Cedric McMillan, may he rest in peace, this was what a midsection should look like. And it's not to be confused with a big fat belly either, because there's a lot of body fat there. And you can see Dave Palumbo, he had a big, thick midsection, but no visible body fat. So now that we know what a bubble gut or Palumboism actually is, let's go through the history of bodybuilding to see where this actually began. In my estimation, the first time the word gut was mentioned was towards this guy here. That's Mike Menzer, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was giving him heat. He actually said right in his face, you would have beat Frank Zane if you didn't have your big belly, your big gut hanging out. Almost caused a fist fight between Arnold and Mike Menzer, but anyway, I would definitely not call this Palumboism or a bubble gut. Here is Momo Beneziza, and as you can plainly see, he had a big, thick midsection. It's more like a gut with a six-pack attached. And I'm sure we're going to see more grotesque bellies than this during this video, but definitely one of the first examples of this situation, you could call it. And here is quite a situation indeed. This is Lou Ferrigno during his 1990s comeback. So for those of you who talk about the golden age era guys being the best, well, here's one right here in the 90s, and he has a whopper of a belly. Keep in mind, he's 6'5", maybe the biggest of all the Buddha bellies on this video. Here is Paul Dillette, and don't hit thumbs down yet, not that I can see it anymore. He had a very narrow waistline, but I'm telling you right now, in 1996, he sported a little bit of a Buddha belly, some Palumboism, but hardly what I would call a bubble gut. Dorian Yates, really not too much of a bubble gut, but this guy was the first real thick midsectioned Olympia champion, I guess you could say, for the lack of a better term. Anyway, Jean-Pierre Fuchs, look at the size of the belly on him. He was around back then too. And another guy I kind of overlooked was Edward Kowak. He actually competed as far back as the 1980s, but he didn't really get a Palumboism or a bubble gut really till later on in his career. And very thickly developed, but as was his belly. Here's Orville Burke. And this is another guy with a small, narrow waistline, but you catch him from the side, and this guy had a whopper of a belly. I'm telling you right now. And I hate to do this, DJ, Dennis James, one of my favorites, but I mean, hey, can't let this slide. You definitely can't let this slide. Ronnie King Coleman, did he have a Palumboism, a bubble gut? Yeah, in 2001, I believe he had somewhat of a Buddha belly. Here's Paco Batista. Never have I seen such a list of stomach. Paco Batista, very thick individual, and his midsection really had no choice but to be a big, huge, thick midsection. Here's good old Don Youngblood. May he rest in peace. But he had a bubble gut. He definitely had a bubble gut. Silvio Samuel, I believe his name is. Yeah. Make mention of him anyway. Now, Dennis Wolfe. Seems like I've been picking on this man. Calves, back, deterioration, and now bubble gut. Few may realize that Dennis Wolfe has, oh my goodness, one of the worst pictures anyway. One of the worst examples of a bubble gut. Look at him. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. With all due respect, Dennis Wolfe. Here's a slightly less big example of a gut. Michael Kaferlonis? I apologize. I got the name wrong. but he definitely had a bubble gut worth the mention in the video. And this video would not be complete without mentioning Phil Heath. Phil the Gut, that's what they nicknamed him, Phil the Gut Heath. Did he have the worst bubble gut of all? I mean, when did it begin? 2011 was his maybe best year, and he kind of had a distended midsection there. But then he ballooned way out of proportion 2014. 2017 may be the worst example of the bubble gut. But you know what? There's a guy beside him there, Kai Green, and he is guilty as charged. He was giving, Phil Heath heat 2014. Look at Kai in 2013. This is a thick midsection. This is as big as a belly I think the bodybuilding stage has ever seen from Kai Green. But anyway, who had the biggest, the worst belly of all time? Well, honestly, I think these three guys have Phil Heath beat in these three instances in time. These still times, these still photos in time. Wow. I mean, you got Dennis Wolfe, you got Kai Green, two known bodybuilders. Who is that other guy? That's, I believe, Marcus Haley. And this picture, I've seen this picture before. Who has the worst gut? I think Dennis has the most protrusion, I guess you could say. And if you're judging it like a body part, like a bicep, you want it to be big, full, and round. Anyway. Just a bit of a joke, guys. And if you can't take it, well, I mean, life's too short not to be able to take some jokes. Hey, if I had a big bubble gut and somebody made a video about me, I'd probably have a good old laugh about it. But anyway, I don't think anybody's making any videos about bodybuilders that resemble stickmen. Otherwise, Mark's Max Muscle definitely would be top on the list. Hit thumbs up on the video. Let me know about some bubble, double, triple, trouble, double bubble guts that I may have forgotten about. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Have a great one.